Alright, welcome to another episode of Big Bun Game Club. I don't know if you'll see me kill a fly live in this video, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's a fucking snuff film you're making, Theo. You know, murder a bug live on camera.
I don't know, I don't know why it has to be, seen in that kind of light. It's just, you kill bugs. I mean, it's not like it's not like a spider where it's actually helpful. It's like a
It's a
nuisance.
fly,
Yeah.
but a fly is spider food, so
Yeah,
should let
well,
it get to this.
yeah, the spider's gotta work for it, though.
True.
Either they kill the spider, either they kill the fly, or I kill the fly. That's like the agreement I have.
Gotcha. So what's up, man?
Not much. I have been thinking about the list of
Okay.
games. Uh, I was thinking of like Final Fantasy 12, right? Yeah. It was between that. It was like a three-way tie. Let me just get the list up again. It was like a three-way tie between that, Ghost Runner, and what was the other game?
God hand.
Yeah, God Hand. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I'm on the same. I'm mostly into Final Fantasy 12. Um. But I also am interested in Devil May Cry 2. Um.
Yeah.
But it looks like the only overlap we have is Final Fantasy 12. But let me hear your thoughts on why you picked the ones you wanted.
The reason why I picked Ghost Runner was it just it kind of reminded me of a first person ruiner. Uh because it's you play as a samurai, so you're just kind of going from place to place killing enemies as a story's being told to you. So it kind of has that same kind of style with Ruiner, where it's just a top down. Or that one is a top down, but you're like a guy that has a sword. Mostly, I mean, he has a gun as well, but I think with Ghost Runner, you can only have a sword.
Yeah,
So you do these like parkour kind of tricks to get around enemies. So
yeah,
that I think was interesting. I like the style of it. Like I was gonna play it eventually, and it just happened to be on sale on Xbox for a while, so I got it when I got it. But I haven't played it yet.
just never played it. Yeah,
Uh, the other one I was thinking of, it was with Final Fantasy 12. I was thinking about that, but I'm playing like Final Fantasy 8, Persona 4. So it's all these like JRPGs, and I just feel these can go on like for a long time. And now SMT3 is around the corner on top of that, so it's gonna be
I will
wild.
say, Final Fantasy 12 is it's not the same. They call it the active dimension battle system. It's not. It's very, very different than any other turn-based RPG you played. It's not really turn-based either. I don't
Oh,
know how to describe it because I don't remember how to play it because it's been years. My thing with Final Fantasy 12 is that I was hoping that it was going to be like Final Fantasy 10 because I love that battle system,
and it
and
wasn't.
it was nothing like it. So
Uh,
I like played it for a little while, and I was like, "This is not what I was looking for," and then I just didn't play it, and I haven't picked it up since.
you know,
So,
then maybe that should be the game. Then
um, okay, here's the thing I will say. We could either pick. So I'm thinking about my schedule in the coming weeks, and we should either play something that will be really quick to beat for like play something now that like is like a quick like 6 hour 10 hour game because there's at least 1 week and maybe 2 weeks in June where like I'm not gonna be able to like play games.
all
Um,
right.
so it's like so here's the compromise though. Like if we played something like Final Fantasy 12 where it's like a strategy game where most things are driven through menus. You don't use Steam as much, but I can use a Steam Link app on my phone and I can play the game on my phone. But it doesn't really work well with like fast action games. But if we're playing like an RPG, I could play it on the go. But I'm just going to be traveling a little bit, so I'm not going to be like at my apartment to play games. So we
Ah,
need like maybe it makes sense to play something that we can beat in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if we have any games that are quick like that, or just start Final Fantasy 12 now and just play it for a few weeks.
I do think Ghost Runner, because I think I checked the completion time, and that one
How
I
long is
think
it?
was like 6 hours. I think.
Let me look it up. Because then that would make sense if we just play that one, beat it in a couple beat it in a couple weeks. Um, but definitely the second week of June, I'm not gonna have like any time to play video games. At least not at my apartment. So like I won't be at my computer, which
Oh,
will make it
it's
tough to like.
so Ghost Runner is 12 to 15 hours.
Yeah, we could bang that
So
out in a week, right? 2 weeks, I mean.
yeah.
All right. Let me look at this. Um, yeah, and then we could switch to something like turn-based or menu-driven, like Final Fantasy 12. After that, because like I said, I'll be just so far behind you if we play something that like, because like if we were playing anything that was action-oriented, I can't play it on my phone like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was no, I had this other idea for a for the future game club, I guess. But this would it would be like a soon future though. Would
Yeah.
be because with the remaster of SMT3 coming out, because that one was also ported to it's also going to Steam,
Oh yeah.
the same time. So I was gonna say like we could do that to compare like who would either beat it or get further into it. Because I'm only gonna play it until I hit a wall. Like if I can't beat it, I'm pretty much gonna be done with it. But and I was gonna stream that game as well up until like the cutoff that they don't want you to go past.
Oh,
But
like they have like a embargo on places where you're supposed to stream it to.
yeah, like it's because they're like, oh, don't stream the ending stuff. So I can stream the whole game up until the ending. Then it's like I have to wait until either they give up
Okay,
on
so
it or whatever.
does that mean it's gonna end differently?
I don't know. Like the way that I could see why it would probably be like there's like a big plot twist because with Persona 5 they had a hard decision with like you can't go past like the game date of November 20th because at that like there's this huge plot twist with one of the characters that you meet up with that's like
Okay.
oh and it changes everything so it's like I could only see that it might be something like that but they just don't want the game to be spoiled for people as well,
Oh,
I
I want to look
guess.
up this Shin. How do you say it? Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Tensei.
Ten Tensei. I don't know. I Shin Megami Tensei. Tensei. I think it's Tensei.
I don't know. I'm a little bit wary of anything Persona related. I've been trying like because you're saying I should beat it. I've been just fucking speed running Persona. Like I used to like skim through and listen to the story a little bit. I now just press. I'm just pressing A through everything. I'm now like apparently Yukiko is in love with me now. I don't know why. I just keep pressing A.
Oh,
Um
you might get fucked by
and
doing
and
that
I don't
eventually.
give a fuck. I don't care because it's just
You're gonna get.
I had a realization that I was like, okay, this game's super easy. It's just like a game for children. And then I was like, wait a second. And then like in the next scene, they were talking about like the breast size of the girls. And I was like, no,
Oh yeah,
this
that's.
game is for weird ass perverts, weeboo perverts that want fucking anime waifus to be obsessed with them. It makes me sick. So I'm done with this shit. So I'm very, I'll look into this game. But if it's anything like this, I'm never playing anything related to Persona
it
whatsoever ever again. It
it
fucking sucks.
it might not because I don't think it has any like of the social link thing stuff
Okay,
with it because like the
that's
party
good.
members you have are the personas you get. So like you could have like Jack Frost, you could have Matador be in your party. I don't think you get like actual people to be in your party. It's a very I don't know much about SMT as much, but that's like the only thing I think is that
Does it have a weird ass story where you fucking have high school children and you're talking about their titties?
the only thing
And
the only thing I think I remember hearing this was like just off a tweet. It was like something about like you're just killing gods, pretty much. Like you're just a god killer.
All right, I'm willing to give it a look, but if it's some perverted, ridiculous shit, I'm not playing it.
All right. Well,
If it takes 7 hours to start the game, I'll fucking explode that whole company that made it.
maybe. Well, it might be. It might be. Might be a lot of story to go through. The only thing is with Persona 4 that if you're just gonna go through matching, there's a part in the game it will determine what ending you get. So you could either get the true ending of the game, or the game will just end where you are if you just don't like pay attention to what you're choosing. So that could happen.
Here's the question that I have: Will I have less? Will there be less game to play? Like, will it just cut off the game because of a decision I made, or will it
I
just be like you got a shitty ending instead of another ending, but you played through the same amount of game?
I think it depends on what it is, because I think one of them, the way that I was discerning is that the true killer will just get away with what it's doing, and it's like, oh, you didn't solve the case, people are still getting killed, and then the credits will roll. If you get the true ending, you'll go on to do the next two dungeons. But other than that, you can either just end it there and the game
So
just
I can
stops.
screw it up that bad?
Yeah, because that's what happened to me in Persona 5. There's another similar scene where you're doing an interrogation, and depending on what you answer, you'll either end the game right then and there, or you will continue. And because the game gave me this false sense of like, okay, well, this interrogator is like trusting me. I'm like a level 8 or 10. I was at a level 8 or 10 S Link with her at that point, and it's like, oh, she's really trusting you. She's hearing you out. Okay, so I thought, okay, I should just tell her about my group at that point, thinking that's gonna work out. I told her this, like, all right, and then it says, well, you sold out your friends and nothing happened. The culprit got away. You fucked up, and then the Igor tells you the ruin's gonna happen. You fucked up and you failed. And it's like, oh shit. Then the credits
Okay.
start to roll.
Is it like every other part of this game where you can just restart and then you just start over from that point and you get
Now,
to make the
Persona
decision?
Persona 5 was a lot more like nice about it, because I don't know if they fixed that in Golden. So I don't know if you're going to have an easier time with it, because in 5 they straight up let you save right before the interrogation. So you can at least like fail and then go and reload it. With 4, you don't. If you fail that part, you have to go to the last save that you did. So, and that's a lot of cutscene. I saved right before it, and it was just like,
You beat the game?
no, I didn't
Oh.
beat it. I got to the true ending. Like I'm now able to kind of continue, but uh, I kind of had to look up a guide because I didn't want to fuck up, because I would have to sit through like, oh, I would like to say like maybe like an hour of just
Ugh.
them getting to where they need to be, and then
Ugh.
from there another like 50 minutes. It was ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount of time. So I don't know if they fixed that in Golden. I assume that they would, because I think they had to have done it by Golden, but I don't know if they fixed that
I'm gonna.
issue.
Well, I don't give a shit, so I'm literally clicking through every. Like, I'm not listening to anything that's happening anymore because I'm so not interested.
Does
So
Well, I guess this would be a better way to judge. If when you go to a certain parts of the story in Golden, does it straight up ask you to save, or does it
it
not?
asks you to save every time you like finish a certain like that stupid part. It's like they solve this murder and then all of a sudden they have a rock band. Like, what the fuck is that?
Wait,
So like right after
what?
that part, you don't remember that
A
when they
rock
do like
band.
the talent show or whatever, or like there's like supposed to be some like
The
I don't
only
like I haven't been paying attention, so I don't remember. But it was like something about like he had some special at the department store, Junes or whatever.
the only thing that they did at the talent show was just it was bullshit. It was just a swimsuit thing, and then it was and the guys I think just stood around and said that they're cool or some dumb shit. No, they did cross dressing in 4, and that was cross dressing, and then they did a uh the swimsuit, and then they also did like a date night kind of like speed
Wait,
dating.
so am I on the wrong part, or are there are there completely different things that can happen? Because
I think they expanded the that whole part maybe.
no, all that happened was they like they were all playing. They all picked up musical instruments and they can suddenly play them. They're like, we've never used instruments before, and then they could just play music. Do you remember that part?
I don't think so. I don't think that's in.
Maybe,
Maybe just be
maybe that's
golden content. Maybe
okay. It's right after you save Nato, which is another rant I want to go on. Okay, it's not right after, but okay. So whenever
I don't think that happened in mine.
that's so weird. I should look that up because, but maybe it's because do you always save them on like the last day? Because I literally every time there's a dungeon, I save them the first day you can go in.
I go as much as I can. Like
I just do it
it's
all
like
in
a
one shot.
hybrid. I try to do it one shot, but like then the RNG fucks me up, and it's like I can't continue. I'll just go back because it it gets to the point where it's like I can go through enemies, and then it's like, all right, your SP is low. Well, okay, all right, this one's gonna just do massive damage, and you can't really do anything about the weakness because you don't have any SP. And it's like I can't leave to go get another party member because I can't go back to the floor I'm on at that particular time because I didn't have any of the Goho items at some points of the dungeon. So I just kind of go as far as I can.
Yeah, this must just be way. It has to be way easier, or I'm just better at RPGs than you because
Probably.
it like it is shockingly easy to me. I literally will just go into a battle, press Y to turn on rush, and then I just watch it until it's like, oh, you need to heal this person, and it's so annoying because I cannot stand. Honestly, the worst part of this game to me is like your like guardian person that's like this person needs to be healed. It's like, bitch, I
Oh.
know. Like, I'll heal them when I want to heal them. Shut up. And it's like, leave me alone. I'm not doing it yet. So I like completely, it's like the style of way I play RPGs is all about conserving everything. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to heal them. It's not time yet. I can keep them alive. Shut up. But it's like every time you go into a battle, every time you leave the battle, every few seconds you're running around dungeon, she's like, you need to heal them. And I'm like, no, I don't. Shut the fuck up. Like, and you can't turn it off. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I feel it was like that as well in 3 and 4. Even my playthrough, I agree with that. I think in 5 they kind of toned it down. It still happens, but not as bad. The only time I kind of liked it was when I don't remember what the ailment's called, but when Teddy suffers this, I just always crack up when it's like I hear, "Oh, Teddy's gone boneless." I don't know why that makes me laugh. Every time I hear I'm just like yeah, he's boneless, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Teddy's useless as a party member to me. I brought him into the dungeon once and I'm done with him.
Well, for some reason, Teddy's been like a baller for in my playthrough. He has like the best healing is Diaran. He has Bufudine is great. The only thing I don't like about him is that I think he still has Mabufula, and it's like I don't know why he still has that. I feel like he should have had Mabufudine by now, and he still has that trash ice
Yeah,
attack.
I have no idea. I brought him to a dungeon once, so I have no idea what his progression is. It's just that I've had no reason to use anyone else because it's just I just find the game to be so easy. And like I have so like and your problem with SP, it's like I have so many items. I don't even know where I got them from, but I have so many items for restoring it that it's like, all right, okay, fine.
Yeah,
And it's like,
for some reason, like
yeah.
it's stingy for me to get SP items. I can only get them if I go to chess. I think what it might also be is that I just get no patience. I just try to get to the boss floor or mini boss floor
Oh, well,
as
there's your
far as I
problem.
get, and it's like I do some fights along the way, but it's just like because I hate how I could easily just get ambushed by the enemy, and I found out that it's not really that you know before the exclamation mark or whatever. It's just I have to be right behind them. So other times in the game, if I'm just a pixel off, it doesn't consider it being behind the enemy when I attack them. So it's
Oh,
bullshit. It's just that bullshit like hitbox nonsense.
yeah. Dude, I
Whatever.
run right at them. I run right at them and then just move a little bit to the side and then turn around. And you ambush them every time. Maybe that's another reason that makes it so easy because like I'm in the very small minority with this, but I actually like random battles because like if I can just choose when to fight, it's like this makes it so easy. I just sneak up behind him every time. So it's like it's
I
never gonna be a challenge. I barely get ambushed, like ever.
I like the easy uh choice of it. I think I liked it. I think I like it more in 5 because 5 at least seems more strategic with it because there is at least some stealth you have to do in 5. Like it's like if you just run around, you'll just like alert the enemy. The alert will go up to like 99 if you keep going up, and then enemies will just get harder if you do that. So I do like that. There's at least some kind of strategy with it in 5. 4 just kind of I think 4 and 3 has this issue where it just feels way more repetitive because it feels more grindy than like uh interesting. While random battles is probably more like it breaks the monotony of just running around.
Well, random battles is like you're shitting yourself because you're like at any moment I could get fucked. It's like that's why in this game it's like you need to heal. It's like no, because I'm in complete control of when a battle happens, so I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean? When there's random battles, it's like you need to make sure you're balanced between like maintaining your resources and like being ready to fight someone because like you never know what's gonna come up, right? Like you might get attacked and like you're gonna get fucked. So you always have to be ready. This is like, okay, I know where all the enemies are on the map because like I don't know if you have this ability yet, but the like guardian person just
Yeah,
tells you where everything is on the map.
I
So it's
do.
like I really don't have to worry about shit. There's no pressure in this game.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, maybe you played on the wrong difficulty. You should put on like the highest.
That's again my point is like I was gonna turn the difficulty up, but it just toggles a bunch of settings that just say there's less experience and you take more damage and they take less damage. So all that's saying is okay, it's just going to take longer to do this. I don't think the battle system is fun, so that just means it's going to be longer. Like I don't it's just going to make this more tedious. I don't want to do that. Like it's
So
not my job. And like I was reading about this, I was like Persona is way too easy. So I'm like looking on the internet and some people were like, "Well, what you got to do is only use your main character and don't use any other characters." And it's like that's how you make the game fun. And I'm like, it's not my job to make the game fun. Like balance your game so it's fun. This thing stinks.
well, you'd be surprised. There's a huge community of challenge runs in Persona.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
there's like a video of this guy like that's talking about like another YouTuber that was doing a challenge run in 5. It's like, I knew this guy wasn't gonna do it because of this ailment or whatever the fuck. And it's like, oh, okay, like, and I just sat there. It's like in 5, I think it's not as fun doing the challenge runs in that. 4 and 3, I could kind of see it, but 5 is just they're just boss fights that are just kind of designed to be bullshit in some ways. Like there's a little bit more gimmicks to them than 4. Like 4 has least amount of gimmicks compared to 5 with boss
Yeah,
fights.
the thing about those like, and I don't know anything about Persona with doing this, but like most RPGs, people have like, oh, you stay on level 1, no equipment, or like only use the main character challenge. And I feel like those wouldn't be fun for me. I think the fun for that is people learning how to exploit the game to be able to do what they're doing,
Yeah.
which I have no interest in figuring that out.
So I think
You know
what
what I mean?
yeah, so I think like for that idea for SMT3, maybe it would be better just to look at like maybe some gameplay of it to get like a gist because it is a PS2 game. So they
I'll
just
look into it.
so I mean the game's out there.
I'll look into it if it seems interesting to me. I'll do it. It's funny because I like I've been thinking about playing Persona for a while, and I watched you stream it, and I saw like a very tiny tidbit. And I was like, okay, this looks fun, but I didn't understand. Like I was like, oh, okay, this is just gonna be like a fun JRPG. I didn't understand the bullshit that was around it, so
I
I'm
feel
gonna do
like
much more research on this one.
yeah, I feel like I've said this when I was playing Persona 4. There is a certain groove with each game, and some I just vibe to a lot. Like 3, I vibe to like heavily. That one I liked a lot. 4,
Yeah, it had cool funky music in it too and shit.
yeah, and it felt more like experimental and just kind of brutal. Like I I hate how the Reaper works in 4. It makes no sense. It's like, oh, you have to like do New Game Plus to get the Reaper. It's like, why? In 3, it was a constant threat. Like you can't just stay on a floor because the Reaper will just show up and fuck your shit up. So it's like, okay, I can't. I can't hang around. And he's kept at like you need to be level like 80 or 95 to even stand a chance. So like if you're on like the beginning, if you just start the game and you just fuck around, get a curse card in shuffle time, or just stay around it any level too long, the Reaper will show up, and then it's like okay, you gotta either go to the next floor or just hope you never run into him. So it's
Yeah,
like oh, it's a little
actually,
bit interesting. There's a little bit more of like a risk to staying around. 4 just kind of gets rid of that for no
yeah,
reason.
I actually did. I did get a Reaper at some point. I didn't know what it was, but it was hilarious because this plays exactly into what you're saying. Because I went to open a chest, and what's her name? Rise was like, "Don't open that chest," and I was like, "No, I'm gonna open it." And she's like, "Really? You should never open this." And I was like, "No, I'm gonna open it." And it was a Reaper that came out of the chest,
Oh,
and
yeah, they changed that in Golden a little bit. They put
it,
him in chess now in Golden.
it was literally impossible to beat him. Like I like attacked him and it was like did no damage. I was like, okay, let's see what this thing does. And then it got 4 turns and everything was a single hit kill.
Yeah,
Like you hit one person dead and it was like, all right, get that person. He just killed everyone in one hit.
it's in 3. I ran into him intentionally because I wanted to see if I could even fight him because I think it was like near the end of it or whatever. So I was like, oh, I just want to see what happens. I triggered the fight, and the fight like did a mind trick with me because every turn I had, I landed criticals on him all the time, and I was like, oh, this guy is like a little bitch. I'm able to handle him, whatever. And then it's like his turn comes around. All right, Akihiko's dead, Mitsuru's dead, Yukari's dead. You're dead. It's like okay, everyone's dead. This was a mistake.
Yeah.
And then in 5, I didn't fight him because I was just like, oh shit, he's a high level enemy. Fuck that, I'm not gonna fight him. In Royal, I just was grinding, so I was like level 99. I was like, okay, I'll fight him, bodied him. Okay, cool, and then I moved on. But that one made more. That one was just like not even like intentionally trying to get a challenge out of that at that point. But uh, 4, it's like I can't even experience him even if I want to fight him. It's like I have to play the game again. It's like I don't want to play this game again. Like I like Persona, but it's like once you beat it, it's like you either want to take like a year or 2 off. Persona 5 was the only game I oddly wanted to play like not even a year later.
Yeah. Again, what would be the point of a new game plus? You start with all of your levels and everything. Do you just like kill everything in one hit?
You have access to your compendium, that's it. Like you can buy like all the high level personas you want.
And you can just equip them? Oh,
Yeah.
you can equip any persona. It's just you can't create personas if you don't have.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like you can't create personas of that level, but you could buy the personas you've done in the last playthrough.
So you have to earn a bunch of money to buy them, and
Yeah.
then. But then your single character would just be able to murder everyone, right?
Pretty much. Like you could just kind of carry the whole playthrough.
That doesn't sound fun. You know what has one of the best new game pluses I've ever seen is, and probably like most people would say this, is have you played Chrono Trigger?
No. I want to. I've been hearing so many good things about the music. And it's like, oh, okay, gotta
Yeah,
check this
Chrono
out.
Trigger is a great fucking game. And if you're liking Final Fantasy VIII, by the way, I meant to say this last time. You know, Final Fantasy 7, 8, and like I think all of them from 7, from 8, actually 9 is also. You know, it's not really turn based, right? It's turn based, but it's real time as well.
Oh,
Did you notice that?
are you talking about 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that. That's why I was kind of it kind of reminded me of that game Indivisible because it kind of has the same kind of battle structure where it's like it's real time in the sense that like an enemy can attack you at any moment or whatever, but you're also trying to wait for your meter to fill up before you can do
Right.
anything. So it's kind of the same way with Indivisible. You're just waiting until a meter fills up for you to do an attack, and you can kind of combo enemies too with in that game. But that's like it's a little bit more different because it's more like each character is an individual button in that game. While this is
Right.
like a little more like you're going through menus, but you're also going through in real time, which is why I like that game. Like it's a shame that I think it gets bogged down by the convoluted like status system that it has with the junctions and all that. But it is interesting how it's designed. Like it's one of those things that it's like in Persona 3 the answer. These ideas that are so like weird and like just off, I just love. I love these ideas that just don't really work in a intuitive way. Like someone who would never play a Final Fantasy playing 8 for the first time would probably be like, "Oh, fuck off. Nope." And turn off.
What part are you specifically talking to about right now?
Oh, just in general with like how you're doing the junctions. Like how it has all this like intricate systems of like how you level up your character, how you can like go inside what specific thing you want to be leveled up.
Yeah.
And all of that, like all that stuff that the game kind of teaches you in the beginning, it's just a lot of reading that if I played this game when it came out, I probably would have been like, this game sucks, fuck it. And just never went back to it because you you know, it's like what you said about Persona 4, how it gives you this huge ass story in the beginning, and it's just like, okay, like to the point
Yeah,
where you
but,
want to mash. I mean, it's
but
not exactly the same, but it's like,
yeah, that's just pointless. It's like this is like I don't need to know any of this shit.
yeah, but with like Final Fantasy, I can sit there and say, why would I want to play a game where I have to read a manual to play it? Fuck this. I'll just play like Resident Evil. I can just play that, pop it in.
Tell that to anyone who likes board games or card games. What do you mean?
Well, yeah, but like you know, it's still like a very intrinsic person that would like that kind of stuff. Like people like the story of Persona 4, so they're gonna love sitting through the story of Persona 4.
Here's the point I'm making. It has nothing to do with the gameplay.
But the gameplay is a
It's
vehicle
like,
for the story.
oh fuck that. It's like you have to spend 6 hours. You don't get to do anything for 6 hours of the game. You literally don't do anything.
I feel like I could factually disprove you because I could probably combine the beginning of the time I played Persona 4 and got to gameplay within 6 hours. I feel I could. Because I streamed Persona 4. I think I've done 2 hour increments when I first played that game. And I think I got to the dungeon with under 6 hours. So you're claiming there's no gameplay in 6 hours.
Honestly, we should watch your videos because I'm pretty sure you don't get to do shit for 6 hours of the game. Or maybe it takes 6 hours to get to get through the first dungeon.
Maybe. You know, I have a bad memory as well, and I was playing 2 games as well, so maybe my time gauge is a little bit off too.
Yeah, honestly, because I remember I was like, okay, I'm going to school, I'm going to bed. When do I do something? And it just kept going on and on and on. And I was like, what the fuck is the shit?
You know,
and I never do anything.
You might literally like Persona 3's The Answer, because that one just drops you right into gameplay.
Good. That's how it's a video fucking game. Where's the gameplay? Give me it.
The best part is that at the beginning of The Answer, they don't let you get items at all, so you have to go through the first few stages of the game without getting items. So you could get to the first boss, I think it's the boss fight, I would consider it, or a mini boss at least, without going to the item store. So the game just expects you to get through a perfect run to get to that part without losing SP or anything, and it's insane.
Sure, great.
So
That sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I just want to fucking play a game. But yeah, so it's like Final Fantasy VIII is you need to understand that system so you can understand how to play the game. Like
yeah.
that's a very clear distinction between Persona where it's like we're trying to figure out what's going on the TV. There's a fucking teddy bear here. Fuck you. This sucks. It makes me so mad. I don't want to think about it. But yeah, so like active time, like if you like Final Fantasy VIII, you'll probably like Chrono Trigger because it's the same type of active time battle. And interesting thing, I don't know if you've noticed this, you can like skip turns. So like if you have a character that's ready to attack, so like say you're on what do they call it? Is it called trance in Final Fantasy VIII, or is it called limit breaks? When you have like
oh, I think it is a limit break. Yeah.
So when you get your limit break, if you don't want to use it, you can like I think you press triangle or whatever you're playing it on. You press like Y triangle whatever, and you can go to the next person that's ready to attack. I don't know if that's gonna come in handy for you at all, but like if you don't want to use it, you can skip over it.
Okay.
So like if you're in like if you're in like some random battle versus like some enemy that everyone can kill in one hit, and you have a limit break, and you want to save it for a boss, you could just not have that person go.
Okay. All right. That
So
I think I might have skipped a few turns, maybe unintentionally, in that
yeah,
game because just of how like it kind of times you with your attacks.
what do you mean by that?
I haven't played the game in like 2 weeks because I think because don't you have to like if you build up a meter with one character, you use one character. If the other character uses the meter, you might not even use that character because the enemy might attack and then the other character might fill up their meter. But I don't know. I maybe
Oh, I so what you're saying, like you pick a command,
yeah.
and then well, no, it would depend. It would depend on who picked their turn first.
Yeah, so
I don't think
maybe
there's
I'm
any
just
interrupting.
huh?
I don't think there's. I don't think there's a way. I don't think enemies can interrupt a command that's already been inputted. Like
Oh, and I'm
they'll
saying
go first.
yeah, well I'm saying like they could attack first, whatever, but it's just the like if I don't use the character like if I don't remember. I need to play the game again. I need to like load it up
Yeah.
to even like remember because it's been like too long. I've been like not playing that game as
What have you been
much.
playing?
Uh I have been playing um I beat Hellblade a few weeks ago. I was meaning to talk about this because it was actually a really good game. The story kind of goes with the gameplay, so it's not like you're not putting the controller down for the story a lot of the time. But I loved how it kind of fucked with your head with what you're doing with the boss fight. Like you're going through this like weird area, so you're going through these mini boss fights. You have to find ways to kind of parry attacks. There's enemies you can't attack unless you do a There's like a certain move you kind of like slow down time with it, kinda. So you do that, you can kind of attack some enemies. If you don't trigger that, the enemies will be like invulnerable. Like they'll just do whatever the fuck they want, pretty much, unless you do perfect parries to build it up or whatever. So you're going through this big boss fight, doing that multiple times, which I liked. I liked a lot of that with the perspective. It was also throwing in like both auto like through the audio and the visuals of the game. Just kind of fucks with you uh as you
What
play.
kind of game is it? Because it's actually funny because I was looking through my Steam library and I already have it. I don't remember buying it. I might have got it in like some humble
It's
bundle or something.
it. You've seen like the new God of War
Yeah.
game. It's kind of like that kind of perspective. Like it's over the shoulder, and it's kind of like that kind of hack and slash.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't say it's that kind of bad. I liked God of War, but it got near once you start seeing the same enemy types being thrown in. It's like that's kind of where the game started like overstaying its welcome. That's kind of when I kind of clocked out and just kind of beat it.
I
This
don't know
one
why God of War never did it for me. I've played a bunch of them and I just I played like the first level and I'm like I don't know why I'm not interested in playing it.
Yeah, I played the demo of 2, and I just didn't care. I was like, "Okay, whatever."
What is that?
It
It,
felt
it,
too
it's like
floaty. I think it's just that the combat just wasn't satisfying as it should
some
be.
I don't know what is the deal with it. Like every time I played that game, I'm like I can tell this is a good game, but I have no interest in playing it. I don't know why.
And then I got God of War 3 because it was a free game with PS Plus, and I played that for a bit, and then it's like I kind of just dropped it. I That is another game I lost interest because I just couldn't get into anything. All it was just Kratos yelling, being angry. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
But it's like as good of a game as Bayonetta, and I don't know why.
Yeah, but but Bane is like kind of fun because you have like a good combo system. The hack and such is much more rewarding. Like I love just either having like swords on my feet and guns on my hands and just kind of going between the two, doing these crazy moves. Like in like Yakuza, like playing as Majima, doing the breakdancing moves was like fun. But like in
Yeah.
God of War, I just didn't get that kind of feel with any of the moves. It just kind of felt like kind of like arbitrary. I don't know. It just didn't like stick with me as much as
Yeah. And like
Bayonetta
even
or
like
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry, yeah. I don't know why it just doesn't hit right with me.
I don't know what like everyone loved Devil May Cry 1, and I was playing that, and I kind of don't think it deserves a lot of the praise it gets. It's not that it's a bad game. I wouldn't say it's a bad game, but I think it's a good game that spawned a good like franchise. I mean, I do appreciate that it exists for three to run. Like it's like the saying, one crawled so three can run. But it's just the underwater level just made me want to drop the game. I almost just said fuck this game, and I just kind of stick with it. The part that I hated the most and I stopped playing and I had no interest going back to was the fucking nightmare fight where you're going through a gauntlet of boss fights.
Oh,
It's such a piece of shit, and you die, and you could die later on. You do the beginning again. It's like I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. And then hearing other people saying, "Oh yeah, the airplane fight sucks. It's awful." That was like, okay, that completely kills it. Hearing that and then doing this, it's like if I'm hating this and people are hating the plane level, that's like the nail in the coffin. And it's like I'm done playing this. The game was great until that point. I like the Nero and the Nilo Angelo fights. That was like the only thing I loved about it. Everything in between and after, it's like I don't care. Like
I don't remember any of this stuff because I haven't like Devil May Cry. I played it way back in like 2001. But if I remember it correctly, it felt like a weird, like it kind of felt more like Tomb Raider than like the later Devil May Cry games. Like
yeah,
it felt like a Tomb Raider but a beat 'em up.
you could tell. Like I mean, the whole like story with Devil May Cry was that it was originally going to be Resident Evil 2, and then
Yeah.
they scrapped it. So you could definitely tell in the blueprint that it is very Resident Evil esque. Like there's all this like backtracking, puzzles, and all this stuff that was kind of dropped in later Devil May Cry games. Like they kind of
Yeah,
toned it down way
not at
more.
all. It's like they're basically not in there. Like Devil May Cry 3 is just you just murder.
Yeah, and then 4 was just kind of like a rush game, but
Yeah.
uh it it has stuff that I like in a lot of games where you can kind of tell like blueprints of like where it was what it was supposed to be or where it came from. And it still had its own identity as well. I do kind of wish they allowed Kamiya to do his Resident Evil 2 he wanted to do. Because I would have loved to see what this would have been if it was Resident Evil. Like it's so weird, like it's a castle and all this stuff like and even hearing like what Kamiya wanted lately, it didn't even seem like it was what Resident Evil 2 ended up being anyway. So,
That's why they broke it off.
yeah,
I
but
kind of think I think it would have been what Devil May Cry was.
I would have loved to see it. Like I think like Capcom it's so fucking weird. So there's this article about Resident Evil 8 and saying uh that it actually should be more like praise for it daring to be different and not giving the same kind of like stuff that all these other games do, which I do agree. Like we all like people can complain how Call of Duty is the same game every year, but then like Resident Evil does something different. Oh, it should have been like the same game like 7 was or whatever. So like I mean I get where that sentiment's coming from as well, so it's not necessarily like not found unfounded, but I think that the changes that 8 adds is interesting, but it also like kind of continues the identity as well because 8 Resident Evil has always changed with each iteration, like slowly. Like 3 was a little bit more action, 4 kind of goes all in on action, 5 throws in co-op, 6 goes all in on co-op. And then 7 tries to dial it back. 8 kind of tries to balance both. And I did see a video that kind of criticized 8, and I agreed with its criticisms of it not balancing horror and action very well. So I do get that. I think that it's close to doing a good job balancing it, but there's all these ideas that 8 throws in that kind of that I could see why some people might be kind of turned off with what it ended up being. But I liked what it was for
Well,
the
it's
most
like
part.
I only watched the gameplay of it for a while, and it just seems like it's like this isn't a horror game. It's just like wait, I forgot what video it was, and they were like, oh, I think it was Neryl was like, how many times can you chop off this motherfucker's hands? Like it's not scary anymore.
Yeah,
It's like
I liked his video too. I think he had a
yeah,
lot of good points. I agreed with it as well. I just think that it's kind of going. I've been thinking that it's like Evil Dead 1 is Resident Evil 7 and Evil Dead 2 is Resident Evil 8, where it's like it kind of goes all in on like on the gunplay or like kind of the campiness that Seven kind of had. Like Seven was kind of semi-serious in what it was like kind of showing, but there was a campiness with it. And then 8 kind of goes all in on the campy side of it, and kind of has these characters be more like have more style to them, and have each enemy have more of a flair to it. Where it's like Evil Dead 1, it's like, okay, this movie is like trying to be like a genuine horror movie, and it's kind of goofy and stupid. Like it has a tree that can do shit. It has like a dumbass book that they just read. Like I watched both those two movies, and there was stuff that I liked in both that I wish that they kind of merged into. Like one, I like that it had a good sense of community with its characters, and it kind of had this cool like kind of atmosphere with the house. While two, I liked the lore side of the book and how like over the top the enemies were, but it just focused too hard on Ash, which is fine. But I would have liked to have like all of the characters to have that kind of
Yeah,
development as the
but
first
it's
one.
like when they have a movie and they're like, "Oh, everyone loves this character,"
Yeah, I mean,
and they, yeah,
I get it, but I kind of just it was kind of more like I kind of wish they took what one was and kind of threw it into like the goofiness that two had with the enemies. Like, it didn't have to focus on like all of them, but it could have just been like a little bit more than just like, all right, because Ash really wasn't a main character in one either. He was just kind of there.
right.
But uh, another controversial opinion was I kind of like the reboot of Evil Dead.
I never saw it.
It was kind of good. The only thing I didn't like was I didn't like the enemy designs in it. I thought those were just kind of cheap. It was just
Was it a TV show or was it
no.
a
They
movie?
they did make a TV show later,
Oh,
which was Ash versus Evil Dead. The TV show was
okay.
good. I did like it. But the reboot was just a movie on its own, and I think a lot of people hated it because it was just kind of like too serious or whatever. But I kind of enjoyed it. The only thing that I remember that movie, there was a person that I was in the theater, someone was sitting behind me with either their friend or whatever. And they just said like it starts off like with the camera like upside down or whatever. Like, whoa, the camera's upside down. Look, it's upside down. And I was like, this is not like yeah. It was like pointing what we were seeing. It's like okay, like yeah, and there's birds. Oh
Were
look, a
they
car, huh?
were they doing that the whole time?
They did that for like the first few minutes, and then they kind of stopped. And I was like, oh, like it stopped as soon as there was dialogue, pretty much.
Uh,
Once there was like people talking, it was like then they stopped. But it was just,
Maybe they couldn't handle. Maybe they're getting anxious because there's no dialogue.
I get, yeah, I don't know. It was an empty theater, so maybe it was like they thought that the theater was empty. Then they saw me. It's like okay, I guess you have to stop
Gotta
talking.
shut the fuck up.
But yeah, I that's why I feel like with Resident Evil 8, it just kind of felt like that I want to go in on a little bit more of a campier side. Because Resident Evil always had a kind of a thread of campiness with it.
Well, I would say after like Code Veronica, it kind of stopped. Like, well, okay, it started to take itself seriously. I think from Code Veronica on.
I don't know, you had like your right hand comes off. No thanks, bro, with Leon and 4. And then you have like these over the top enemies. I think it always had this campiness with it. Like you have like Salazar with his giant like robot statue thing that chases you down a hallway. Like I think there is a thread of campiness. I think what
Yeah.
it takes seriously is when it gets into like its deep story stuff with Umbrella. That's kind of when that kind of takes a back seat a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh which is like some stuff. I mean, I've seen like a lot of media do this too, where it's like, oh, we know when to be serious and when to be goofy. But then you see these occasional movies or games that it doesn't know how to balance it, and it just looks really stupid and just cringy half the time. When it's like overly serious when it doesn't need to be, it's like okay, move
Yeah.
on. Who cares?
I don't know how they did it, and it might have been an accident, but like Resident Evil 1 through 3 were so like I don't want to say poorly executed because that's not what I mean, but like the voice acting was bad, like the way the characters moved looked stupid, but like somehow and maybe it was just cuz we had better imaginations back then, but like somehow the story still like it hit like it was like wow, this is like a good story, if that makes any sense.
I think to a point, people can discern what people are capable of when they make it. Like you you in the 1990s, the N64, PS1, you buy a game and you see what it is. Like you kind of you know what you're expecting at the, like to a point. So when you see like goofy like animations, it's like, well, yeah, I mean it's pixels, and like you're not really gonna tell what they're doing if they just haven't like perfectly stand still. Like you're not gonna see like a facial expression necessarily. Uh,
Yeah.
so I do think that either some people might not have like been aware, or that they've been aware or whatever, because I feel like when people either go back to play older games, or when they're playing a game that's newer and they try to reinterpret that was been back then, it's like this isn't like what it was in the past. But it's like, well, you don't know if that's the case, because maybe that's just how they interpret it, how they sold it to you. It's This is gonna be like a fucking like anime thing here, but it's kind of like how people debate over dubs, over subs, or whatever. Because with translations, it's how they interpret what the language is, like how they translate it and how it's interpreted and what's going on, all plays into like what's in the script. So it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, this line makes like it's like it could mean this thing in Japanese, but it can be interpreted differently in English, and I think this interpretation works better than what's there, or that is more consistent with what's in the script or whatever. So I think like in terms of games and what's on the disc and how like each scene is rendered and the story is being told to you, it's like how it's kind of interpreted and what it's giving you, because it kind of gives you this bare bones story in Resident Evil 1. It's kind of told through documents and kind of like the environment, and the remake kind of capitalizes that even more and throws more stuff into it.
Are you talking about the Resident Evil 1 remake? I never played that actually, even though it looks absolutely amazing.
It it's a great remake.
Yeah.
I didn't beat it on GameCube because like I've had this dumb mentality with Resident Evil where I thought that the games are based on the movies. So I was like,
Oh,
oh, so like
so
I
wrong.
yeah, I had a completely unique opinion. So when I played 4, it was like, oh, it's kind of like the movie, because they talk about Umbrella in the very beginning, and then after that, it's like, okay, this isn't in the movie. And then I was like thinking about it, I was like, oh, I guess the games came first. And I just sat there, I was like, why the fuck did I... And I think what
But
it was I saw the movies first. So that's probably how I initially thought it was the other way around.
but even the movies, like the movies have nothing to do with the game. Like they're not even based on the game. It's just like they'll take some characters that are
Yeah,
there. Like
but I liked the first two movies because I think I they're bad. They're bad in terms of like a quality of a movie. Like if I'm judging this as a movie, yeah, it sucks. But one one is at least a little bit more watchable. At least there's something to get out of it. I've sat through all of the Resident Evil movies, and
isn't there like 12 of them?
it gets I don't know. I lost count and I don't care. They get so bad. Like the first two movies, I feel at least have at least a charm to them. At least there's something that you could kind of sit there and like, okay, like these are dumb movies, but like it's kind of like, it's like candy. It's like, okay, like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't like
It's like
substantial,
fun
whatever.
food.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's kind of fun. It's dumb fun.
sure.
3 is just kind of stupid. That one kind of like it started to give me red flags because the budget in that movie seemed like it took a nosedive. Like the enemies looked like fucking garbage. The actor they got for Wesker was awful. It just seemed like this little child, this like with sunglasses. Like, that's an order.
But it's like they get make all this money off those two shitty movies. They're like, fuck it, they'll watch it. So they just
Yeah,
keep making it for nothing.
but it gets even worse after the third movie. Like I watched this one movie and it just I I was just like I was like in shock. Like I'm still like thinking about this movie. This movie they gave for free if you pre-ordered Resident Evil 7. So they gave this movie out pretty much if you
Which one
pre-ordered.
was it? What was it called?
I think it was Retribution. No.
Is it the one where they clone people? I know there's one where they clone people and they
They
brought them
all
back.
it's all clones. Like they all like because the first one they talk about how Alice, they kind of allude to Alice being a clone, and then two
Yeah.
they were like
And there's like
they go more into
55
it.
Alice's or something.
Yeah. this one I don't remember the name. It's R, I think, because it's not these. It might be Retribution. It's not the CG movie. It's this one, and it's like it's so fucking bad. Like I just I feel like a high schooler could probably have a better budget from their parents to make a movie that looks better than this. Like I just couldn't believe that this was something that Capcom just put their name behind. Like it's so bad. It's
Dude,
the costumes were awful. Like the guy, all the actors look like they're from like porn. Like they're all porn actors, and it's like,
probably was from a porn wardrobe because they're like, whatever, we don't. Again, they'll watch it. Fuck
yeah.
it.
I
Don't
I
care.
just couldn't understand, and I started thinking maybe these movies be like maybe at the beginning they at least wanted to try to make a movie, and then after that they're like, fuck it, we're just gonna launder money, and it just became a laundering scheme after that.
No, that's what they say these things are. That director in particular, was it Paul W.S. Anderson or something?
Yeah,
Say that every one of his movies is just a money laundering scheme. No joke.
yeah. Now I remember that, and
Yeah.
I didn't know it was just a particular movie or just all of them. It's probably just all of them. But then
It's-
and then
yeah.
Monster Hunter came out, and this one I love the PR of Monster Hunter movie. It's the best PR I've seen. Oh,
They said,
we're gonna like we played the games and we're gonna do the game justice. It's not gonna be anything stupid. We're not gonna do what we did with the Resident Evil movies or whatever. It was some weird PR that they were like grandstanding on. And then the movie, like the summary comes out, oh, it's a military gets warped into like another dimension with dinosaurs. And it's like, this is nothing what you said it was. What the fuck?
classic.
It was great. I don't even know if
Uh,
it bombed. I think it did bomb, but it's just I just can't believe they didn't even try. They didn't even try to be like, just we're doing a Monster Hunter film. Here it is, and that's it. Instead, they just wanted to build it up just so people can say, "What the fuck?" I guess it's at this point. I think the director just wants to do fucked up shit to see what he can get away with, just to do it.
Dude, he makes. Is it the same guy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he
the
makes
same
all
cast
video game
too.
movies. He makes all video game movies. They're all with his wife because I think that Joe, what's her name? Mila
Mila Jovanovic, whatever.
She's his wife. She's in all his movies, and it's all money laundering schemes
Yeah.
apparently. And they're never good. So, um,
It's-
but let's be honest here, though. Has there ever been a good live action video game movie?
mm, I it's
Oh,
funny because I feel like everyone said that about Prince of Persia. I remember because Disney was behind this film, and
uh-huh.
everyone, gamers, people who don't even play the games, were like, "This movie's gonna be great." They go to the movie, and I think initially everyone loved it. Everyone was like, "Oh, this movie's pretty good." It's not like the game, but it's pretty good. And then over time, people started to realize this movie was a piece of shit, and no one talks about it. Like no one, not even Disney. I don't. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
The only thing I think people liked was that one actor's name that was Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. That
He was in.
actor,
I never saw the Prince of Persia movie.
yeah,
So
he was in Prince of Persia and he was kind of like cool in the movie, but that was it. Everything else was kind of stupid. Uh, and then yeah, and that was it. Then Ubisoft tried to make Ass Creed that movie, like, oh, the Ass Creed movie is gonna be great. No one cared, and it kind of came
that,
out with a
that thing
whimper.
that came out that
It
exists.
it literally came out as a whimper. Like no one talked about it, not even Ubisoft. They kept bringing it up at E3 every year. They're like, "Oh, we got this movie. Look at this movie. It's great." If they try to bundle it everywhere they could. And then the movie I think it supposedly came out. And then like no one talked about it. Ubisoft didn't talk about it. No one talked about it. Not even the actors. Like no one talked about this movie. It's like what happened?
It's so weird. It's like now I'm thinking about it. It's like so weird that they make these movies. That it's like, why would you? Why do you even bother making them? Like,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like a cash grab, but it's like, can't you just make a semi-competent movie? Like, great movies are made with small budgets.
Yeah.
So why instead of why do they have to make this big budget piece of shit? Why can't they just give some director that's competent and make a small movie?
Well, I think what it
Yeah,
is,
right.
I think what it is like, this is why again, this is what I like about Resident Evil 1 and 2. They kind of told its own story straight up, and it's like, oh, we're just doing whatever. So I think that's why it's a little more fun to watch those two movies. Then after that, it's like, don't bother. But I think a lot of these kind of licensed films and stuff like that, it's the same thing with the licensed games. I've said this with like Platinum Games with the Transformers
Legend of
game
Korra.
and Legend of Korra, is that they could probably if they were able to do what they wanted, it would be fine. But there's always like a studio or a CEO behind them saying, "No, you need to do this in this time frame." And then with
So
movies, it's probably like, "Hey, I think the fans are gonna love this if you just throw in all these characters
I'm,
in."
I'm calling bullshit on this because have you ever seen the Super Mario Brothers movie? You think Nintendo was like, you think Miyamoto was like, nah, 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 you need to make him a dinosaur, like a real ass dinosaur. They did not have anything to do with that.
That I think it's a little bit more like a tricky story with how that panned out, because I think they had they changed directors. I think I have to look up the lore of
They
that,
changed
but
characters like 3 times. That's not the point. Nintendo watched the movie. They could have been like, yeah, don't put this out, please. But they let it happen. Why? Why did they let it happen?
it's all different. I mean, every movie that's made has a different kind of story going on behind the scenes, but just every you're tell then why didn't they stop it if Nintendo was behind it? Why what how could they not how could okay, so how could Nintendo stop fans from making their games, but they couldn't stop a movie? A company couldn't stop another company?
They could have stopped the movie. I don't know why they let it come out. It might be the Mario Brothers movie might be the worst movie of all
Because
time.
you know what it could also be, that they were just like, let this movie come out, we could write this off in taxes as a failure, and we could get a tax write-off on it.
Oh,
They
yeah,
could just
absolutely.
take the hit. But for the most part, if you look at all these other movies that are tied with other properties, it's always like, we gotta please the fans, or it's like, we want to make it our own, and then they kind of morph it into. It's always it goes into many avenues. You'll either get a director that is a fan of the property that wants to do an honest story or whatever, and then you have corporate that's kind of mangling it up. Like the Sonic movie was literally that, where the CEO and these corporations, these movie corporations, were like, well, we should make Sonic look more like a real person, like a real hedgehog. We should just do that. And
Which
then like the fan backlash happened. They're like, okay, fine, we'll listen to the gamers and we'll make Sonic look like Sonic and keep the stupid story that sucks.
I believe the conspiracy theories that they just made a shitty looking hedgehog on
I don't
purpose.
I don't believe that.
I
That's
believe it, dude.
they
I absolutely
so
believe
they
it.
would crunch an entire team of animators to do that.
Okay, I don't know the full stories. Like I haven't heard interviews and stuff, but I kind of believe that they always had the good Sonic design, and they're like, let's fucking put this out with this ugly, shitty Sonic and see what people say to gain hype, and then
I
they
don't
were fixing it. I believe that conspiracy theory all day.
buy it. I'm
Why
not a
not though?
buyer
That's the only thing
because
that gets
like
attention by being fucked up.
I mean I wouldn't say that it's an outlandish theory, because I do see where it's coming from. It's not like it's a bullshit theory, but I I think for me, I follow one of the people that worked on the movie. Like they like I think the person's name is like Tyson Hess. He did all these other games and other animations and all that. He did like the Sonic Mania intro. So they got him at last minute to reanimate the whole movie, and he was kind of like saying like, yeah, like I reanimate the whole movie, I fixed the design. So that's why I don't really believe in the
Okay,
theory.
so you have
So
more information than I do. So
yeah,
then, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I think.
Okay, even the more likely scenario is they made it ugly on purpose to be like, yeah, that'll get attention, with no intentions of fixing it, and then they did end up fixing it.
Yeah, I think it's all
Do
these other things. I think it's that too. I mean, I think that could be it.
you know how many people looked at that? and we're like, it has to be on purpose for it to be that ugly, and people were like, yeah, that looks good.
I
What do
think
you mean it has weird ass teeth? Get out of here
they
with
should
that.
release that cut. I say release the fucked up
Release
Sonic cut.
that cut.
Yeah. You know, I think people should have just shut up about it and let that movie come out. Because okay, you know what? This is bullshit. I think the Sonic fans are idiot. Are okay, you know what? This is a little mean. Tough love.
Fuck
They're
shit on.
idiots. They're fucking idiots. They've been spoon fed bullshit for every fucking game, and they keep buying Sonic. Like Sega didn't even have to make Sonic Mania. They could just gave us Sonic Forces and said, "You'll eat this shit. Eat it."
Which is what they do.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, "Oh, Sonic Mania is great. Let's, what a great game. It is. It's a good game. I
Yeah.
wouldn't debate that." But then they make Sonic Forces at the same time. Where's Sonic Mania 2? Where is that? They're probably gonna make another 3D bullshit Sonic game that no one's gonna like and it's gonna suck ass. The 3D Sonic games, like, if they made Sonic Mania and they just stuck with that, great. That would have been a great redemption arc for Sega, but they're not gonna do that. They're gonna make another 3D Sonic game that's gonna suck ass, and people are gonna
Yeah.
complain about it, and then they're gonna wait for Sonic Mania 2 to come out in 2031.
I gotta say, they really have to figure out a new formula for Sonic 3D games because like there's not a single good
Just
one.
don't do them. Just don't do
No,
them.
no, no. I think it's possible. Okay, Sonic fans are insane, and there are Sonic fans that have made like test engines that are brilliant of like 3D Sonic games, and it's like Sega just hire these motherfuckers to do it. Um, but like they need to completely change the formula, and I people will think I'm insane for saying this, but I think the best 3D Sonic game is Sonic Heroes. It was a step in the right direction.
Oh,
They-
I fucking played the demo of that game. It was a piece of shit. How did he even play it? I go into the game and there's like a canyon you go into and Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails just kept looping around and I couldn't continue. It stayed there. I loaded up the game again. It did it again. It's a bullshit glitch and that turned me off from that game. That glitch in that demo fucking tainted that game. And I had no intention of even giving it a chance after that. I was like, why the fuck would I buy
in a
this?
demo.
Yeah, the demo
What?
was garbage, and I didn't want to risk any of that glitch carrying over because it was coming out like within I don't remember when it was coming out because it was in the Mario Kart Double Dash demo disc, so I don't know the time frame between that, but that demo pissed me off, and it just killed the
Well,
game.
it doesn't matter. Sonic Heroes isn't really a good game, but I could see the potential if they kept going in that direction that they could have a good formula for 3D Sonic games because it's like it's less about like every 3D Sonic game is like you just run on loop de loops and it's like this is just stupid. Like you don't do anything. And like Sonic Heroes it kind of slowed it down a little bit and you had different gameplay styles, but it was more about like running through an open world. Not an open world, that's not the right way to say it, but like kind of navigating a world where you're not on a track.
Yeah.
But it's like they call 3D Sonic games boost games because all you do is fucking boost down a track. It fucking stinks.
All
Like
right.
even Sonic Generations isn't really that good. It's okay, but everyone's like because it's like a competent game. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Sonic rules again!" And it's like, no, this is an okay game, and every other game is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think we got a good idea on what game we're gonna play next.
we're playing Ghost
Uh,
Runner, right?
yeah. So I think it's gonna
Okay.
be Ghost Runner. So anyone wants to, feel free to play along with us. Feel free. I think it's on sale on the Switch store right now. So
Yeah.
it's on sale there. It's on sale everywhere. Probably, maybe. So that's gonna be the next game, and then after that, who knows?
Maybe Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah,
I'll look at
probably.
the Shin Megami Tensei fucking 3 and see if it's some weird shit.
Well, Dante is in it. So he is a boss fight. They
Who's
changed
done?
Dante from Devil May Cry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's literally in the game, which is
I
like
thought Atlas, which I'm looking at. Like, I thought.
no. Alice is SMT3. It's just that they somehow they must have had some kind of deal with Capcom to have Dante in the game because he's in the game. They even have the voice actor of Dante in it in
Huh.
the remaster now. They changed one of the attacks to like the twosome effect or whatever, and I just sat there I was like, that's a weird name to change it to.
From
I don't
what's the
remember
name
the
of
name. I don't remember the name of the original attack. It was, but oh, let's see if I can pull up the tweet that I read it because it showed the change. I
I'm
think,
looking at
huh?
oh go ahead.
Because I think depending on what version that you get that game, they don't have Dante in some versions when it first
Uh,
came out. I think the American version had Dante. I think the European version had this other character named Rado or whatever. But they made
of
him DLC for the remaster, so you have to buy him to put him in.
course. I'm looking at cuz I swear Atlas makes a
Oh,
game I really love.
so
Oh,
then
go ahead.
the original attack was bullet time, and then they changed it to twosome time. Because he's using two of his guns, I guess. I don't know, it's a weird fucking change. I don't know why.
This doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I thought uh Atlas made a game I really liked, but I'm looking at their page, like their Wikipedia of like every game they ever made. I guess they made Snowboard Kids, whatever. Um, but
They,
like I swear they made a game that I like really liked as a kid, and I'm not seeing it. But they've made fucking hundreds of games.
yeah, they did a lot of weird games too. There was this one in Japan where you play as Jack Frost going through like a maze, I think. I don't know, it's odd. That I don't know. Atlas, I the only game I played that wasn't Persona from Atlas. I don't even remember. I feel like I have played a game from them before that wasn't Atlas. That was from them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything. They just have so many. They've been making games since 1987,
Yeah.
but it's all weird Japanese shit.
Yeah, and they're probably all like Persona SMT related.
A lot of them are like 50% of the games on that list are. But yeah, so I guess we're playing. I
Ghost
already forgot
Runner.
the name. Ghost Runner. It's a first-person shooter.
Yeah, it's first person, but I don't think there's guns. I think it's only swords
Okay,
and like
this will
grappling
be
hooks and shit.
cool.
So like, yeah, I think you might like it. Like if you like Super Hot or Ruiner, like those kind of games, like Hotline Miami, like that kind of like you're just be going through like waves of enemies and you're just trying to do like trick shots kind of shit.
Mhm.
These like a lot of gameplay is like very fast paced action.
All right,
So
I'm down.
so
All
it
right, I'm
might
gonna
be
definitely
good.
get started tonight.
All
Um,
right.
I didn't talk about what I played. I've been playing
Oh
Super Time
shit.
Force.
What
I
game?
played Super Time Force. I don't
Oh
like it.
fuck. Is that a railgun shooter?
No, it's kind of like Contra or Metal Slug,
Oh.
but the whole game is a gimmick, and it's fun. It's like it's fun for the gimmick, but like I don't think it's that fun to play. Um, basically, what happens is if you can go through you have 60 seconds to get through the level, right? And when time runs out, you die. But if you can rewind and you get like 30 tries, so you can bring another character into the level, and the character you first played with is still fighting. So that
Uh
means it makes it easier for you because that character is going through killing everything. So now you can run through the level. It's a lot more
okay.
complicated than that, and you all have different abilities. But like, it's fun for the gimmick, but like, it's not that fun. If that makes any
Uh
sense, it's not. It doesn't give you the same fun as you're playing like Metal Slug or something. It's
oh
a different
okay.
kind of fun. I guess it's
Uh
more like a puzzle game in a way.
oh man, what game was I playing? Because I played another game as well. I think I started Yakuza Like a Dragon again,
Oh yeah.
which is great. I like that game just doesn't get old to me. But I've been wanting to get back to Yakuza 5. I keep putting that game off.
Maybe we should
Uh
play that part of the game club because I don't really have that much interest in playing any of the Yakuza games except like a Dragon. But I'd play it if you were like, "Oh, let's play it." You know what I mean?
yeah, but I'm like deep into it. Like I've switched like between three different characters at this point, so we could do it, but maybe like if you catch up to me, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah, Solidus did nothing wrong.
I'm still using the self bastard template, but that'll change. I gotta make one for like when we finish a game and we're like doing a video that's like in between games. I gotta make a neutral.
Gotta put Cleo in a Mega Man helmet or something.
Yeah, gotta do something like that. Maybe it'll be all Persona 4 themed since we love that game so much.
Fuck that. Just
You know,
put Cleo in a bunch of iconic video game outfits. That's what it should be.
I feel like that. I've said this. I streamed Persona 4 yesterday, and I said that in the stream. I do like the idea because I've been hearing nothing but good things about Persona 4. I like that. I have I at least semi enjoy the gameplay, but I don't like a lot of the game either. So I think it's interesting seeing like all these spectrums of the game, hearing nothing but praise to not a great game, but it's whatever, to the game is a piece of shit. I love hearing all these like ranges of opinion.
Hate everything about it.
I mean, it's always great hearing all these other opinions about it. It's like it's kind of like what I like about, at least for a while, with Last of Us 2. Now that's kind of, it went full circle being kind of boring. I'm tired of that discussion. But if there's a game that gets people to have such a reaction of either, oh, I really love it, or really hate it, it's like there's something about this game that's either like it's either in between or something interesting about it. So at least in Persona 4, at least it's a little more interesting than what I thought, because initially it was like everyone loves this game. It's just, I don't care. It seems really overhyped. But hearing like all these extremes about it, it's like, oh, there's something there, I guess. But
yeah,
that is it for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye.